say hello to Twitch.
Hello, Twitch.
Hello, everyone. Do we want to get started?
I think it's time.
Yeah,
okay,
we can do that.
Let's get started.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. This is our weekly product meetup. I participate. We've got something some really awesome things to talk about today. One of my favorite topics is Avatar. I'm using one of the custom avatars today. I'm Landon. I'm a Chief Product Officer here at Linden, overseeing Sansar, and we've got pretty awesome things to talk about. I'm going to hand it quickly over to Kara for us to get started. She's on our product team, seeing the avatar work, and we'll get things off there. Thanks,
Yes, yes, thanks, Landon. Yeah, so we have quite a number of things coming in the next release, so we want to focus on a lot of that. Get you hyped up for what's coming up at the end of the month, and also towards the end, we do also want to talk about what's coming up, the release after that, what we're planning in the next few months. Yeah, so I'll get started on customization. I know we love to customize avatars. So one thing that's coming up for our default avatars is now we're going to enable skin tinting, which means you can change the color of the skin apart from the... Oops, I can hear myself from some of these mics. All right. So, yeah, so you can change...
Galileo, you gotta mute your mic.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, I don't like listening to my voice. All right. So for skin tinting, you can change the color of the skin to any color you want now. So aside from so we'll be providing the usual 6 swatches of skin tones. And then from there, kind of like how you adjust the color of the nail or the hair, you should be able to adjust the color of the skin. So that means you'll have a really, really huge variety of skin tones. And you can even create more alien-like avatars by coloring it blue or green or even pink. It's definitely up to you. Yes, it'll be like Daisy Skater avatar. So green skin, green skin.
Green skin.
Yes.
Oompa Loompas too.
Yep. So definitely, we'll be interested in seeing how much new varieties of avatars we'll have after that. So the other thing that's coming up too is on the custom avatar front is that we're going to open up dressing custom avatars now. So that means that you'll be able to dress the custom avatars with accessories, rig clothing, MD clothing, and hair. So one key note is this is our for our first iteration. We're calling it Dressing Custom Avatars Beta. Basically, opening it up, seeing how it works. We definitely would love to hear your feedback on what works, what doesn't work. One thing to note is for MD clothing, it should be much easier to adjust that, as everybody knows, using adjusted clothing simulation. You can adjust the clothing against your avatar much easier. Pull it against avatar. We've tried internally to dress, let's say, like the shark on the store, and that's really interesting. Mm-hmm. Yes. Sean here can talk about that too. Yeah, and then for rig clothing and hair and accessories, it's a little bit special in this release because they're not really adjustable just yet. So we will, expect to see some weird behavior, and we do, appreciate if we hear some feedback on how we can make that better. So, for example, if you have, let's say, that shark as your avatar, and you put on some accessories, you might see some odd behavior where the sunglasses, for example, will be, floating on top of the head, as if it was, equipped on a male or female avatar, so it'll still stay in the same position. But what we're hoping is in future iterations we want to open up adjusting that accessory. So in the future, and this is not going to be this release, but in the future we want to enable you so that you can pick any part of your body and then attach the accessory over there. So that's something we'll be working on in the future. Yeah. Is there anything I forgot, Stretch?
No, so like Kara said, this release, we're kind of just letting people go crazy, letting go wild. You can put all kinds of crazy you can put the dress on the raccoon. It's going to be really fun. And both male and female clothing and accessories are open to the custom avatars, because it's really like it's associated with the skeleton, those clothing. But when you have the custom avatar, we're just kind of, sometimes they're crazy, and maybe the female skeleton's going to fit male clothing. It'll just kind of do what it does. So I think it's going to be really fun. The next release is at the end of this month. So going for like the 31st. March is 31 days, right? I'm pretty sure. And what's coming after that is, we're putting this out there. One of the big things are coming next is to be able to move, like rig clothing. We're kind of stuck. You put the hair on, it's tied to the skeleton. But for MD clothing, you're gonna be able to translate, rotate, scale, uniformly scale that clothing. So you can, if you have the shark, you can take the hat and move it down before you start simulating. And that should make it a lot easier to do in desktop. In VR right now, like MD clothing is pretty fun. You can get out there and you can grab and you can move stuff around and you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. But in desktop it's a little tricky because you just have the one mouse point. So we're gonna try and make that easier. You can translate. It'll be easier in VR too, but you can translate. You can get the neck hole lined up on the raccoon and then start simulating. And that's gonna be great. Or you can scale up your T-shirt to fit on your rock monster. I always use the rock monster because I'm waiting for. Or I can scale it for this clothing. And so, same with accessories. We're going to do the MD clothing translation stuff first, but we're going to try and get to the accessories soon as well. So you can, at least up the position of the sword to fit in the avatar's hand. And then hopefully kind of make it so you can, move things around. You can take a sword and put it onto your back and that kind of thing. So and it'll move around with your spine instead of moving around with your hand. And so that's what we're trying to get to with that. And then custom avatars overall will be a lot more fun. And so we encourage all of you to need your help as well, is to create dressable custom avatars. I know some people I've already seen are working on some naked avatars that'll be great for dressing. Like Kara said, this avatar here that Landon's wearing is pretty good for dressing already. Like you put MD clothing on that avatar, put a shirt on, put a skirt on, it's going to kind of work really well out of the box. My avatar, maybe not so much. It's already dressed. This is a great avatar from Ignaya, and I love it. But the clothing is going to kind of, maybe I can put a t-shirt on it. There's all little nicks and crannies here, so maybe we can get a naked one of this frog, and then I know there's some naked frogs around too, but I've seen around. But yeah. So that's where we're going with dressing custom avatars.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. When the body's very similar to the default avatar right now, it's much easier to customize. With example of Landon's avatar here, when we were testing out some clothing on it, it was very easy to put on clothes on the bottom and on top as well. But since there's a shirt on the upper part, sometimes it would still clip against some clothing. So yeah. Okay. So from speaking of custom avatars, one thing we're changing as well is we're changing the first time user flow so that we will start showcasing custom avatars in the first time user flow. So instead of directing the user to create play around with a default avatar, we will give the user the option to choose one from several handpicked avatars from the store. Or let them customize the default avatar. So you have a choice. Like if you don't want to use the custom avatar, you can use the default avatar still.
Yeah. So hopefully, all those gray avatars, people are just inundated with gray avatars. Those are going to become collector's items. So, that's going to be great. And those gray avatars also will be dressable. If you have one of those gray avatars, you can actually dress them. I tried that out, and but. They're going to be, it's going to be it's going to be driven by the community. And so that's going to be really awesome. The base avatar is still going to be available.
That's right. So we have one more really big change for the, I guess it's not super big, but I think it's going to make a difference in terms of how you play around with the avatar editor, is that we're changing a couple of the buttons that we have there. I know a lot of you have struggled with the select button because it it acts as both a save and leave the editor. So now we're kind of separating those two functions out. So we'll have a separate return to world button and a separate save button. And the save button should allow you to save over your current avatar or save what your changes as a new look on the lookbook. So it's a lot more power. One more thing we're adding as well is a reset button on the MD, on adjust clothing mode, so that if, with dressing custom avatars, there are times when some of the pieces of clothing may fall on the floor. So with the reset button, that should enable you to quickly reset the positioning of the clothing back to the original so that you can adjust it from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a refresh, just a small little facelift on the character editor. We've moved some buttons around, associated the adjust clothing down to where the worn items panel has adjusted the shop button to more be with the clothing panel. So a little bit of a refresh, like Kara said, added some buttons, made it so you can, hopefully the flow is a lot better. When you go into adjust mode now, we removed some of the superfluous buttons and just made it a little bit cleaner. So I think it's great.
Definitely. Definitely love to hear what everybody thinks about any changes. All right. Cool. I think that's all we have for the customization side of avatars. So to talk about gameplay, do you want to take the field on that?
I have the headset on. Can you tell me what the topic is on the notes?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, yeah, sure. So next we'll talk about jumping.
Jumping. And where is over there? The man, Eagle Cat, has been working on jump, and it's going to be super fun. We've been playing a lot with it internally, and it just adds literally a whole new dimension to play. You've got the up and down dimension, exploring the social hub, exploring the scenes with jumping. You can hold down jump to get a little bit higher. There's a fall animation as well, so if I walk off the stage, I'll do a little fall land, and just platforming. Interacting with gravity is so much more fun. You can turn gravity up and down, and you can that should be something that's manipulatable from script, and so you can have some cool platforming type levels. Do you have anything you want to say, Eagle Cat? Throw it over to you about jump.
Hey guys, nice for you to have me here. Jumping has been a lot of fun for me. It's probably the most fun I ever had at this company. So how does it it will bring lots of improvements to the Sansar experience, like moving place to place feels more natural and fluid. Just now we were trying to get on this stage and we're bumping on the ledge, and we had to teleport to get on top of it. So you will be able to explore more and reach previously uncharted territory. And like Stretch was mentioning, it opens up your creativity for more type of new experiences. We had a test scene that's placed in the moon, so it has a different level of gravity. So jumping around in that experience was lots of fun. So hope you guys like it.
Yeah, and just to add a little bit on that, some improvements probably coming down. I mean, Leslie is probably in a clone somewhere. Is asking for control over jump strength. It might be something we add here where you can, from script, you could set somebody's jump height, so you could pick up like a power up that gives you like twice the jump. And something that we're probably going to look at, I know that some people are going to ask for jump override animations, and it's something that we're definitely thinking about, but it's not in this first version. So I know that's something that people will be asking for, but it's not in this first version. This first version, we're trying to get it out there, see what people do, see what kind of experiences people make, and then we'll expand as we go. So kind of our standard operating procedure there. Yeah, so I think that's jump. I don't think I have anything else to add.
All right, thanks for that. So next we'll be talking about some improvements on walking and running. Okay,
yeah, this one's pretty quick. I can walk and run right now. One thing we've kind of noticed is, the walk feels a little tepid. I can walk a lot faster than this in real life. I can run faster than this in real life. Maybe. I don't know. And so we're just increasing the run and walk speeds. Internally, we've assigned these to like kind of variables in the animation graph to make it so you can move better. So hopefully we'll see what the feedback is, and this might be something we also expose through script as well. I know Leslie's been pushing for that. But hopefully there's more energy into the scene. More energy. You got faster walking and running. That's the base. So.
All right. And then I believe there are a couple of sit fixes coming up for VR in this release.
This fix is one in the last release. Mostly around VR for when you sit down, you don't immediately get up again. A little more leeway on sitting, so that when you sit down, you can be in VR. And also, I think we fixed the legs so that when you sit down in VR, let me just see here. Let's just go to the emotes panel here. Let's just see how I look when I sit, and I can eat, my words if it's not working. All right. So yeah, I should be pretty good now when I'm. How do I look?
Looks good.
All right, good. So yeah, I can be in VR. I can, and I don't completely break. So we'll be doing some more improvements to sit. Sits on our agenda for So for more improvements. So the big improvements there are going to be things like multiple sit points and first-person VR sit and attaching to the thing you're sitting on. So those are going to be coming down the line. I'm not sure which release, but those are things that we're definitely investigating. So.
All right. Thanks, Stretch. So the next thing after sitting is we're also fixing the groundedness of the avatar.
Yeah, so this one, if you can see me now in VR, this is one of the reasons I wanted to get into VR, is that if I kind of shift my weight, I get a little this stutter step, get a little this motion here, and so what we're trying to do is make it so when you're in VR, you feel really connected to the ground, you feel really connected to your avatar, and so we've been doing some work to make it so that when you move around in VR, I'm jumping back and forth here, that your legs feel a little more connected, and along with that, we have some polish work for, as I was saying, land in here. When you take your headset on and off, right now you kind of get pops and stuff. When you lose tracking in your controllers, you get some weird behavior. You get your arms sticking through your body. When you sit down, if you put your headset on while you're seated and then you stand up, you get kind of some weird behavior where your hands are up here. And we're just trying to do some polish and kind of, continue to make VR our, we feel really strongly that VR is the future, and so we need to give a first-class VR experience. And so these are some things that we're trying to do to, push the product forward on the VR front. And I think that they're really cool, and it's going to be really great for VR users. So.
All right. Were there any other VR polishes coming up?
I think I covered it all.
Okay.
That's all going in for R31.
All right.
We can talk about the future for VR if we want.
But yeah, let's talk about it a little bit later.
All right.
Yeah, let's go through what's coming up next first.
All right. Let's talk about R31 now and R32 later.
Yeah. And R31 means this release.
This release. Sorry.
Yeah. Do we have a name for this release yet?
Do we say
no,
R31
we don't have a name
people?
yet. No, we don't.
Oh, well, my bad.
It's all right. It's all right. But we don't have a name yet, but we'll have one soon.
Is this March or April release?
This is March release.
For the March release. March release.
All right. So let's talk about R31. R31. This coming release again. So what we're having is we're changing how first-person desktop avatars work. Stretch, you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. So right now, if you're in first-person desktop, you don't see a body. First-person desktop going forward, you're going to see your body. And I think I saw a Kara is now being broadcast. You will hear. Oh, sorry. I think I saw a question here about the pew pew, whether your hand in desktop is going to be coming up. You know, if you see your hand in VR, you can hold the gun and you can pew pew. But if you're in desktop right now, you can shoot where you want to shoot, but the hand is down. You know, this is kind of putting us on the path. We're going to draw your body in first person at the very least. So, so that way, you know, at least you feel a little more grounded. You get kind of in line with VR. So we're just going to draw the body, same as VR.
All right. Cool. Now you have another exciting change, which is saving your position in runtime.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one. So right now, if you go to the character editor, if I leave here right now, go to the character editor, come back, I'll be, you know, at the spawn point up there. We don't think that's a great experience. So going forward, if you go to the character editor and come back to the scene, you'll be at your last like safe position. And by safe position, I mean like if you were riding a platform or something, if you were flying on an airship, we're not going to spawn you in space. We're not keeping track of your position on the airship right now, but at least you'll spawn kind of the last place you were on the ground. So you'll spawn at like the dock of the airship. And so hopefully that'll make it a little better for social engagements. You know, a lot of scenes don't necessarily have those elevators or moving platforms, but if you if you're doing something social, you can go change your outfit real quick, come back, and you'll still can join right back into your conversation. And so hopefully that'll make it a lot smoother for doing social stuff. That's the goal. Make it so you can be at a nightclub, quickly switch your outfit to your awesome nightgown, and then come right back into the experience right where you were, continuing your conversation.
Right. Cool. Sorry. I accidentally pressed on teleport to friend somewhere and had to reload.
You clicked on teleport to friend?
Yeah, and speaking of which,
perfect segue.
Yes.
Perfect segue.
Yeah, so speaking of which, we are making a change on teleport to friend, and so that when you do press on teleport to friend, you teleport directly where your friend is at. So next time I do this, I'll teleport directly beside the friend. So let's say I decided to teleport to Sean here, I'll teleport directly to where he's, you know, right near where he's standing at, instead of at the spawn point back there.
Yeah, so there's two kind of parts to that. So if I'm in a different scene than the person that I'm trying to teleport to, so if they're in a different instance of the scene or just in a different scene altogether, I teleport to them. I'll teleport directly, you know, somewhere near them. We kind of try and pick a safe spot around them. And if I'm already in the scene with somebody, now you won't hit a save load, you won't hit a loading screen, you'll just teleport directly to them within the scene. And so if you are, you know, I've done a lot of the top fives, and some of the scenes are like, you know, 2 kilometers long, which is great. They're really awesome. I like Naya's, I can never get the name of it right. The one with the boars, it's like Saltwater. Oh man, I don't remember the name. But that one is really cool. It's got this barrel thing. It's got like a brewery factory, a foundry kind of thing, and it's easy to get lost with people. So make it so you can just teleport directly to your friend who's in a group, and we'll spawn you next to them. I know that there's probably going to be a question. I'm trying to get in front of a question. What happens if I have a game like Hover Derby or you know, Scurry Canyon or these other experiences where I don't want people just popping in randomly into the world. I have this experience in mind. It's a maze. It's whatever. They need to start at the spawn point. So there's a flag for that in your creation, where you can by default will allow for, you know, so these kind of, the social bit is the default, so you can spawn to your friends as the default, and any scenes that are legacy scenes now will spawn with the default, which is you can come to your friends, but creators can check a flag in Edit World and come to you. There isn't a way to disable it for some friends. That's a good point, but right now at least you can do it for the scene. So.
All right.
So hopefully that'll make it so, you know, still you can have your games, you can have Falling Cube, you can have Scurry Canyon, but and it won't disrupt you. But for the most cases, social interactions, you'll have this feature. So.
All great stuff. All right, I think that's about it for what we have for the upcoming release for avatars.
There's also some improvements to the grabbing.
Oh yeah,
grabbing. Don't forget Niblet here.
Oh yes, sorry.
It was on the list. I'm pretty sure it was on the list. We just skipped it.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's go.
So yeah, right now, like you have the blue beam that comes out of your hand that you have to point at things if you want to grab things in VR. So we're getting rid of that blue beam, at least for grabbing things, and you should be able to just grab things in a much more natural way just by reaching out. And you'll still see the object highlighted, but you should just be able to grab it. And also, it should stick on your hand a lot better. So at the moment we have kind of quite a bit of latency, but there's a lot of work into getting rid of that latency, so it's just like rock solid in your hand.
Yeah, and hopefully this builds on some of the stuff from the last release where you can grab stuff now. I don't know if anyone's done it yet, but this stuff shouldn't fall out of your hand as much when you hit it on things. So you should be able to do things like drums and stuff, is hopefully the plan. And this improved grabbing, we've been testing it out with like chessboards and stuff without the blue beams, and we've been pretty successful. So hopefully we're not just super experts with it. We don't use it every day, but everyone will be able to, get the thing they want, and we can get rid of these kind of immersion-breaking blue beams. And another change that's going in is to make it easier to catch stuff in VR. So if you throw it and catch in the air, we kind of give you a little more leeway on the catch to make it so it's easier to catch. Mm-hmm. So air is just going to hold things at their side, no holding in front of you yet.
That's not this release, but hopefully release after, we're going to start focusing on some kind of parity between VR and desktop in terms of interacting with objects. So
yeah, it's a very good question. This kind of leads into what's going on next. And throw indicators for desktop to make it easier to throw, and some improvements to holding and placing objects in desktop gives you some more parity with desktop or with VR in terms of your holdability, I think is what we're pushing on next. So it would be nice to get that animation up so you can hold things in front of you, even if it's the gun and stuff like that. So
all right, cool. Sorry for skipping over that. That was a really good update over there. All right, so that's what we have for our upcoming release. For the next few releases, we're thinking about a couple of things. Sean already talked about some of them. One of them is the Marvelous Designer scaling, translation, rotating. We're also looking into avatar uniform scaling. Did we talk about that? Did we talk about it earlier? No.
Yeah, I can do some talking here. So Ebe mentioned foot IK improvements. Just to go back for a quick second, and I was trying to talk about groundedness. The groundedness, that's kind of the foot IK stuff. And so just to make sure it's clear, there's this new VR, groundedness for your avatar, and that has to do with keeping your feet really close to the ground and on the ground. And when you move around, we do some smart things with the legs to make it so they feel more grounded. For what were we talking about? I already forgot. We were talking about.
I was going to ask about uniform scaling. If you want to talk
uniform
about that.
Scaling, yes. Uniform scaling is something that's coming up. I'm not sure if it's going to be April or May, but it's definitely coming up.
Let's not give any dates.
We're not going to give any dates, but it's something that we're addressing. The big thing is we can scale, and you'll be able to scale in the editor down and up. We haven't decided on sizes yet. You'll be able to interact with your clothing will scale, MD will scale, and when you go in the world, we have some decisions to make. Maybe we can get some opinions on whether or not your capsule should scale, whether or not your run speed should scale or stay the same. I mean, there's definitely some pros and cons in terms of like gameplay and fitting through doors and stuff. And we need to do some work on scaling inputs, scaling your VR inputs, scaling when you sit in a chair. Some pieces there, but that's something we're definitely looking at.
So there's a question in chat that's related to this topic. MediHugh asks, if you can scale the avatars, will the foot placement with IK still work?
That will be that's another thing we have to fix. If we uniformly scale the avatars, the foot placement should still work. And that's got to be something that needs to work. We haven't done it yet, but it's something that has to work. So we will make it work.
Yeah. All right. What else do we have? So I think we have a couple of gameplay improvements as well, like throwing trajectory guide for desktop users, because right now it's easier for people in VR to throw items. So the idea is that we'll have something kind of like the teleport beam, that should enable desktop users to throw items with more accuracy.
Yep. Yes. So I mentioned that with Niblet. Niblet's going to be working on that, and hopefully we'll get it in. And we're going to get it in. We're going to get it in, not hopefully. And we're going to have an indicator, and hopefully it'll make it so that there's. I got to stop saying hopefully, but it's going to make it so that desktop and VR come into more parity. That's one of the things with Jump too. Is we wanted to make it so that desktop users had. You can jump in VR as well, but kind of little more. More stuff for desktop users to do, just generally. I mean, just to be honest, there's more stuff for desktop users to do. So
they can make experiences targeting both VR and desktop.
All right. I think we can leave it off that as a teaser.
Let's see here. Go into some what else? What else do you want to talk about?
So I guess for now, we should take a look at chat and flag question. Just to talk about the questions, answer them. So,
sure.
Yeah. So I'll read out some of the questions that's coming up that the team has gathered. So Silas asked, "Will it already be possible to adjust accessories in their position?" And the answer to that is no, not yet for this release. But we are aiming to enable you to adjust accessories in the future.
Yep.
And then,
how far in the future, Kara?
I'm not yet sure yet. We're trying to figure out the priority of it.
Trying to squeeze in
yeah, in the next few months. Yeah. So,
but it's not like a 6-month thing. It's like
no, hopefully not. Hopefully not. We're aiming for something much sooner than that, for sure. Yeah, and then somebody asked earlier, when is the next release? I think it was answered in chat, but for everyone else, the next release is at the end of the month, sometime between the last week of March or early April. And then the next question is, what about work being done on default avatars? It was Matthew who asked this. We're still continuing the work on the default avatars. What we're calling it the work on Avatar 2.0. So basically, we're changing up the entire default avatar so that we'll have more customization capabilities in terms of how the face looks, the shape of the ears, the eyes, and also the body in the future, so that you can have bigger looking avatars or taller looking avatars. All right. And then somebody asked about flying. Sam asked about flying, and I answered this in chat, but right now flying is not really on the roadmap, but I wouldn't say that we might not consider, we may consider in the future, but that's certainly not in the near future.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. So I was timing how long it was going to take someone to mention flying after we said we're ready to jump in.
Yep.
By the end of the month, but yeah, it was about under 5 seconds, I think. But
you were timing it.
Yeah, we've got to jump before we can fly.
Put the gravity to 0.1 and then leap.
So one feature we are thinking about adding to before flying is crouching, so that kind of like most games you'll be able to crouch, kind of making the experience more like a game.
It's worth pointing out that even Superman could not fly in the beginning. He had to jump over tall buildings in a single round. We will be able to do that by the end of the month. Thank you, Stretch.
Yep.
All right. So next question is from Mijeka Monroe. What are the plans for the desktop users on being able to lift up the arm while shooting?
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's something that, we should look at with the desktop throw stuff. Sounds like it's kind of related. It's definitely, to do with generally getting parity between VR and desktop.
Yeah, there's a little tricky bit there. It's like, what happens if you're holding an automatic rifle or something? It's going to look really goofy, but something that we want to do. We're, like I said, one step along that way is turning on the desktop avatar so you can see yourself. Although, it's not going to look ideal right now when you're shooting yourself in the foot. But one step at a time,
Yeah.
So,
and I think having a better hold pose, like rather than holding things down by your side, just having something that you're holding.
Yes.
Or at least be closer.
Be closer. Yep.
All right, cool. So next question is from Irene. Touch sensitive walk speed? Question mark.
Touch sensitive walk speed. Stuff without thing. I mean, when you use the stick right now, you should be. I can control my walk speed a bit. It should be. Maybe it's easier to see with a run. So there, I'm in run, and I can control my speed. So you're able to do that now. I'm not sure what we mean, but with the stick, you can control your walk and run speed by pushing it forward less. So I don't know where else to go with that question, but.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
So the next question is from Twitch, from Chris. What are the plans for enabling face movement on faces that don't fit to the human rig?
We have that now, do we not?
You can, like, obviously this mouth here, I think it's, let me just switch, make sure. You guys can see my mouth moving to some degree, I think, with this frog.
Yep.
I just turned around. And so you can do that. I know that some users have brought up, like, they want a beak or something. And so you have, like, a beak sticking out, and we want to stretch those bones out. We have been talking about retargeting a lot, and it's something that I think we can do so that, we take... The big thing with manipulating the skeleton is that once you manipulate the skeleton, then our basic animations might not work anymore on that skeleton. And so... while the human face rig, it's kind of the best we have for right now. Just some animations get messed up if you start manipulating the transforms like that, like stretching or changing the positions. And so we haven't put that out there. But as we move along this path towards more adjustable avatars, hopefully the morphing and stuff will allow you to get some of the way there.
Yep.
So.
I think the short answer, it's a hard problem, and it's something that we're extremely mindful of and been experimenting with, but so no commitments in the near term, but it's something we want.
Yes, thanks for the summary, Landon. That's good. So the next question is from Silas. Are desktop users still going to hold things at their side? No holding in front of you yet?
We talked about that already, I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully we answered the question on that one.
Yeah. What are the so next one is from Chris from Twitch chat again. What are the plans for enabling face movement on faces? Oh wait, sorry, we already asked that question. That seems duplicate. Okay, the next question is from Solus. I have noticed a lot of clipping on the auto rig with MD items. Is there a reason for this, and are there any suggestions?
So the reason. We switched out our hidden surface removal algorithm to be a different hidden surface removal algorithm. Hidden surface removal is getting rid of the body underneath the clothing. And it sped things up a lot, right? Like the saving now, upgrading and stuff should be just a couple seconds. We have a little bit of improvements on that time now for this next release. Also, Dave did a little bit of work to improve those save times a little bit. But we sped it up. And when we did that, we lost some fidelity. I have a bug on me to fix that. And I'm going to hopefully be looking at it. If I can get to the bottom of it for this release. There's a bug to try and get that back to the way it was. So there's a bug. That's there's nothing really we can do. I don't know if there's any suggestions to get around it at the moment, because I don't necessarily understand the bug fully yet. But it's something that we're looking at for as a bug. So yeah, it's a bug.
Okay. So the next question is, scaling avatar is April release or the one after this one? So for now, we don't want to give an exact date yet, but we're shooting for scaling avatars in the next couple of months.
So not April, but possibly May.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly April. We're just not sure yet. I don't want to give any dates. So it's possible April, possible May at this point. So the next question is from Laban Core. Will it be possible to one day teleport to an area based on the location of the free camera? Also, an option to have the camera zoom in on an avatar on a nearby list would be helpful as well.
Not something that we really considered or picked a look at. My guess is no, but we're certainly open.
Yeah. I don't think we've been investigating that just yet, but it's certainly something we can look into. So the next question is from Marcus Williams. How about some type of mini map? Well, right now I don't think, at least from what I know, we don't have any plans for a mini map just yet, but it's certainly something that we are considering for the future, probably. Landon, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly right. It's something that we talk about pretty frequently. It's something that's pretty consistent in you find in other games. It's something that you have in Second Life. We talk about it a fair amount. I think some of us are pushing for having something like a mini map, but it's not something that we're currently planning on doing.
Yep.
I personally actually would like to see a mini map, but I think when you start talking about VR, like what does it mean? How does it's a little, it's not as easy as you might think.
Yep. All right. So the next question is from Purples. What are you going to do about people sitting on chairs? It's not a great experience in VR, and I'm talking about the dose of body experience.
Yes, Yep. It's something. So there's kind of 3 things that I would like to fix with sitting. One is multiple sit points. We did some work on that to do the edit world side, but we need to do the runtime side. There is the first person sitting in VR in general, so you can sit and move your body. I know that's not a great experience right now, and something we want to fix. And the third one is, I think, addressed another question on here, which is sitting on animated objects, sitting on dynamic objects, sitting on keyframe objects. That's another piece of it. The sitting on dynamic objects is something that we've sitting on animated objects, something that we've wanted for a long time, so you can do roller coasters and stuff. We were kind of waiting for this system of being able to join things together. So you could take, two pieces of wood and stick them together and then make one long piece of wood. This is the kind of the general base case. And we were kind of using that, kind of trying to get that generic system. We might just go for a sit solution. So, that's something we want to fix, and it's probably going to come up here pretty quick. Full body. I should let you go. I'm just looking at this view here. I'm just reacting as the comments are coming in. But we should probably do it in a more uniform, controlled way, as opposed to me just blurting out when I see something that I know an answer to.
I see. Yeah. Let's go to the next question on the list. That's fine though. If it's something that strings together what you just said, I think that's fine if you want to cover that. So just read the question. Just read the question though, so we have context on which question you're answering.
No, I mean, there are a couple. It was just like using animations on sit poses, and we need to be able to sit on held objects. That'd be super cool. Held objects. I'd like to be able to put a backpack on my avatar, and people can sit on that, and I walk around, and people are my avatar. Using animations on sit poses, being able to override the sit, so you can do like a Riker sit where you move over a chair or sit on a chair backwards. Very cool stuff.
It's called a Riker sit?
No, I mean Riker used to swing his leg over the chair and then sit with the front of the chair in front of you. You should look it up on YouTube.
You're talking about Commander Riker from
Commander
Star Trek.
Riker from Star Trek. He had a very distinctive sitting style. I don't want to get off topic, but
I mean, I'm the biggest Star Trek nerd, and I don't think I realize that.
Anyway,
and I'm not a Trekkie fan.
So it'd be good to
I don't know who that
those
person
kind
is.
of cool animations for sit poses. Yes, that would be great.
Yep. Another question.
I think these other things are kind of higher priority at the moment, but
yeah. Another question is, I don't know if you covered it, was are we going to have sit points on animated objects? I can't remember if you covered that.
That was what we were just talking about.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was the third thing in my list of 3 things for sit.
I see. All right. Sounds good.
I'm seeing
All
some
right.
talk here about full body tracking, which again VR related, I guess, but it's something that I don't know. Kara, do you want to talk about full body tracking? I mean, it's something that we've been discussing, but
Yeah, we can talk about it. You wanna?
oh, I can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be looking at full body tracking. It's something that you can. Vive has those extra trackers. You can stick them on your pelvis, and you can stick them on your feet, and then you can do full body tracking. It's something a lot of other games have, and it's a way for performers to really do really awesome performances. And
We do that again?
Shoo, 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 bam. So imagine that, but with also legs and hip movement, and you will be blown away. And so that is what we are going to be working on as well. Just to, get us, again, to being a top-notch VR product. I mean, we're already top-notch VR product, but just going the extra distance. And so that's coming. Because, I know not everybody has those trackers, but the people that do have them are going to be entertainers for everybody else, and so it's going to be really awesome. And a lot of streamers have them, and other people that are kind of influencers and will draw more people to the platform have them. So it's going to be awesome. Next question.
All right, next question. Yeah, so the next question is from Chris again from Twitch. It's a mix of a question and opinion. I think teleportation is kind of immersion breaking. Someone is instantly appearing, disappearing all over the place. It's just weird. Are there any plans to deal with that? VR chat fixed this by implementing third-person movement rather than teleporting.
Yeah. That's more of Zaya's question. I don't think we have any plans right now to deal with teleport in a different way. I mean, Stanley,
but we can disable that though, right?
You can disable teleport for particular scenes. Third-person movement is an interesting solution. But
I believe VR chat actually, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they change their teleport? Because they used to do the walking animation, and I thought they just went to straight jumping teleportation. But I could be
there's a switch. The default has been, or it was last time I used VR chat, was the walking, but there's a switch where you can have the flip, I think. Just the direct teleport, like we have. Let's see here.
All right. So shall we go to the next question?
What's the next question?
So the next question is, will VR work with any Samsung product? And actually, Abe answered this in chat, so I'll just read his answer. So Abe mentioned that Windows mixed reality, like Samsung, should work out without extra manual config after the next release. So we're discussing that a little bit more today.
That is true.
All right.
So I want to just to be clear about that. I think it was someone in the community who his name is escaping me at the moment. I apologize. Did the work to figure out what the config needed, what config options we needed to change. So we plugged them in and did some kind of basic testing around it. So we're happy that we can get it working again, but we're not officially supporting WMR yet. I mean, there's a whole QA run that we need to do with everything every time we do a release, and we're not equipped to do that right now. But we might change that in the future. I think we did get a lot of feedback around it not working, so we might reconsider that. But we're still officially not supporting it, even though it should work after this release. Just to set expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you for that. Yeah. All right. So our next question is from RNA. Sorry if I didn't say your name correctly. But the question is, facial expressions you can trigger with buttons or keyboard. Is that a thing? So I don't think we can trigger facial expressions right now with a keyboard just yet, but it's certainly something that we can look into in the future. Certainly right now we've been focused on main, body emotes, movement and stuff, but in the future, something that I do want to look at is some kind of emote that is more facial reaction within that sphere, basically.
Yeah, we do that now a little bit in the character editor. Like you have that smile on your face in the character editor, and that's doing just an override on the like a facial only animation. So that would be good. I know that we've been talking about that. We rely a lot on the speech graphics when you're talking to do facial animations, but just when you're in the default, I think now we do have a smile all the time in the default, but when you're just standing around, but it would be good to like be able to express if you're sad or mad or you know, when you're talking to somebody in VR, you know, that, or so when you're talking to somebody just in general in VR or not, but like having that more human connection. So not something that's currently on the roadmap, though, and at least for the next couple of months.
Yeah. Oh, something you can talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Purples from Twitch. Do you have any plans for an option to disable the flash of light when people teleport, as it causes issues with epileptics? Oh, interesting. Yeah. I don't know if you have any plans right now, but that's certainly something that we should look into. Yeah, so we'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, let's look into that. I mean, that's
I haven't heard that, but
I had not heard that, and something we need to be sensitive about.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
We'll talk about it.
All right. Next question is from Edu. Catalina wants to know if we will get more emote slots or options. Yeah, that is something that we talked about before. Currently, it's in not in the immediate roadmap, but it's certainly something we can consider later this year. That's my answer for that.
Kara, we should talk about that offline then.
Yeah.
It's something that I think is doable.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
The thing that we want to do is they have arbitrary slots, right? So it's not you have to replace one of the existing ones, and
that's true.
I would personally like to do that sooner rather than later, but it's not currently scheduled. But
a lot of sooner rather than later.
If we can pull it in,
we can expand the number of default slots is something we could do in the short term.
Yeah.
So expanding the number is or adding user slots is also a possibility right now. So with the technology that we're using, with the way it's set up right now, adding more additional slots is a possibility.
Well, if you can get that sooner, definitely let's talk about that after this. All right. So next question is from Kiwi. Is there a way to see your messages on the website, like without being in the game? So right now, the only way you can participate in chat is within Sansar. I don't think there's a way for you to be able to access it in the website just yet. Does anybody know if the Discord or anything can be integrated?
No.
Yeah. All right. So
I think we missed one. There's one up higher. Do you mind if I go with this one?
Yes, please, because I'm reading off from not the chat app, actually. But from a different document.
We've already gone down below the chat app, like where the chat app is.
I see.
I don't know. Maybe this was missed. I'm going to take it up.
Yes,
I'm going to jump in here.
Yeah, can you read the question?
NPC work, like moving bone animated characters from MedHue. I picked that one because it's near and dear to my heart. So we have a work item. I've been talking to Zayas about it. Is moving arbitrary objects. So you can move an animated object. You can move a mesh on its own without a rigid body. You can move a light. You can move a sound without having to. Right now, the only way to move stuff is with a rigid body, which can cause problems because you want to move a sound and you want it to like go through an avatar, and you can't do that. Like you can't have a sound go through the avatar. You can't have like any kind of visual effects coming up out of the avatar because to move them you have to have a rigid body, or you have to have an animation, but you can't move the animation with the avatar, so it kind of makes it a problem. And so that's something that I want to talk to MedHue, Bagnaria, anyone who wants to talk about the script API for that. But it's something that I'm hoping to get in very soon.
All right. So another question is the awesome green glow of interactive objects going to vanish anytime soon?
I mean, I know people have been asking for that. It's just tricky because you don't know what you're going to pick up. I know it kind of maybe ruins some of the interactivity for things like adventure games where you have like find the right book on the shelf and you need to find that book, but it's tough to know then kind of other things on that. So Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. Kind of producty solution. Maybe we talk to Zayas but maybe it should be an option. Maybe it should be we should kind of elicit some feedback there. Because we do one thing is like, one thing we've been hesitant to do is put an option on every single feature, because it makes it so that a new user approaching the product is going to have a real hard time, right? Because they won't know necessarily which scene is going to do with how you interact with things generically. How do you jump generically? Every interaction is going to be different, and so needs to be this balance between where a new user comes in and they can just say, when I hide over something, it's green and I can interact with it. When it's blue, I can pick it up. When this button jumps, this button teleports, and so there's that balance we need to strike between, consistency across the Sansar experience and, the ability for creators to create the things that they want, and so there is that balance a little bit. So,
all right. All right. Next question from It's Just Purples in Twitch. We definitely need different accounts to log in easily and switch and mix up. We need it. I don't really understand the question, actually. Maybe it's more of an opinion.
It sounded like it was more like logout. Like they want to be able to have a big list of their accounts on the login page and just click one, kind of like Gmail or something.
I see.
In my Gmail list, I have a bunch of accounts, like my wife's account, my account, and you can just, whoever's logging in can just pick the account they want and quickly go to that account, versus like, logging in and all that stuff. So that's what it kind of sounded like to me. Please correct me, whoever wrote that, if you are wrong, if I'm wrong, but that's what it sounded like.
All right. So there was also, I guess it's more of a comment from Discord from $50. The meeting starts at 7 p.m. my time, which is just when the kids are going to bed. If you guys can start the meeting 1 hour later in the future, then I'd be there every time. And I'm sure 8 p.m. GMT, 9 p.m. mainland Europe would be a much better time for those across the pond. We can certainly evaluate if this is the best time for everyone. Thank you for pricing that out. We'll take a deep dive and see if we can move around the product meetup time slot.
We might just mix it up from week to week, Kara. We just haven't talked about it.
Yeah. All right. So the next question is from Chris from Twitch. Are blend shapes something that are off the table? It will be a way to allow any face animations while moving bones and the rig. It does mess up the face mount points, but the mount points don't work on weird face shapes anyways.
I mean, there is this kind of back and forth we've been having about blend shapes versus bone rigging. We've kind of been trying to move more towards bone rigging because it keeps things like things attached to your body and your face, they move with it. And so it gives you some stuff that you like. We do have the face morphs now, so we kind of have support in the character editor, and they're probably going to stick around in terms of some ways to morph it. We would like to, I've been talking to the tech artist about this, and this is kind of in the future, is to, we support bone morphs, right? Because like vertex morphs, because we support, if you go into the character right now, those are vertex morphs. And so for custom avatars, we should be able to like get those morphs out of the FBX file if you set them up that way. So we'd like to get there. And so I don't know if we're going to have a lot on our default avatar. We're going to try and keep that. But for custom avatars, it feels like it's something we should support. But like I said, that's kind of more down the line.
Yes. So looks like we're down to 2 minutes left. I'll ping in just one last question and then...
last one.
Yeah. So the last one is from Visay. Were there thoughts on volume fog for things like underwater or steam rooms? I don't think we have the right people for that. For that question.
I don't. That's unfortunately, I'm not too much on the render side right now. Render is really focused on performance, and part of that is I don't know. Did we talk about this last week? I missed last week's meetup. Did we talk about LOD stuff?
Yeah, so I think if it wasn't last week, it was definitely the week before. And my I think the same question came up a week or two ago about particle effects, and it's something. Gosh, man, we really love it. Everybody else would love it. Right now, that team is focused very squarely on increasing the number of people in an instance, right? And our goal is, I think I mentioned, is to get it to 100 by mid-year, and we're not going to deviate from that, right? So like fogs, particle effects, anything related to render is, if at all, will be in the second half of the year.
Did anyone else see that rainbow? It was like a rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that too.
And it disappeared.
I was surprised earlier.
I thought I was
that was awesome.
Hallucinating.
Same here.
That was awesome. Whoever set up this scene.
I know I said that was the last question, but there's one question that caught my eye.
Sure.
Mateo asked from chat, how do you decorate your home? So right now we can't decorate the home space just yet. So one thing you can decorate though is like create your own experience and maybe create your own space there. But for the meantime, the home space is going to be set as what it is currently.
All right, everyone. It's time, and I've got a jam. If anyone wants to stick around, they're obviously welcome to. But thank you, everyone. Really appreciate jumping in, and hopefully we answered everyone's questions.
Yes, thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Great meeting you guys.
Yeah. Hey, Solus.
Hey.
Hey, thanks for the feedback the other day.
Oh, no
so,
problem.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, if you need me to explain anything, I'd be